because he continues to lie to the world about what I said and who I was pointing the finger at.
Fight, never even cashed a check still. Have $100 million that I never even cashed before. I have a tax attorney that takes care of everything, and everything is okay. I'm not. Yeah, we're taking him to court.
No way. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So
See you in the courtroom. Congrats, you're going to prison, Floyd.
Floyd Mayweather, the unbeaten boxing legend, is reportedly on the run after ESPN commentator Stephen A. Smith startled the sports and entertainment worlds with a surprising and unexpected turn of events by dropping a bombshell live on television. During what was supposed to be a routine story, Smith revealed alleged financial records that connect Mayweather to a massive $42 million scam involving fraudulent investments and undisclosed international holdings. According to insiders, federal authorities have already issued a warrant for Mayweather's arrest, and detectives are actively investigating leads associated with the controversy. Smith described this disclosure as just the beginning. Smith has never held back when criticizing Mayweather's extravagant spending habits and conspicuous displays of wealth. What is hidden beneath the surface, he said, may be even more important than what has been found thus far. Fans, critics, and analysts are all in disbelief over the boxing legend's present situation, which could jeopardize not only his wealth but also his freedom. He is famous for flaunting his expensive items, private jets, and millions of cash. How could the man who once claimed to be money itself find himself embroiled in legal issues and facing financial ruin? As the narrative unfolds, one thing becomes clear. Mayweather's empire, which he built over decades, appears to be collapsing at an alarming rate.
Floyd Mayweather has had for not paying someone money. Check this out.
Yeah. So we're gonna sue Floyd Mayweather.
What's good with this? What's good with the conversation about this? Last night you were doing one of these. Are we saying that or what?
He hasn't sued him yet.
Oh, got it.
We're still talking.
Got it.
There's still conversations that are happening.
Well, he got sued. You know he got sued.
He's been sued multiple times.
For the same fight. Yo, something's going on, and there's one side that's very clear to see is beef. You know why he got sued? I watched the video on it. It's a full breakdown. He is the promotional arm of his fights. It's why, in part, he makes so much money, because whereas a normal promotional company will take 30%, he is that. And so oftentimes for his fights, before the tickets can go on sale to the public, or like right as they go on sale, he'll buy a whole wing, a whole section, and then he'll sell them at a higher price, marked up, so he can make, like all the floor seats. He takes all of them, 3, 4, 5x, and it's part of his business.
Floyd Mayweather, a man who lived in constant luxury and built $1 billion brand off his boxing skills, has long been associated with excess. However, beneath the glamorous appearance, he has long been plagued by rumors of financial and legal issues. Mayweather made a startling public admission when he stated that his legal team had told him to keep quiet about certain financial matters, promising to resolve them all amicably behind closed doors. Despite the mounting pressure and the potential for legal consequences, Floyd made it clear that his desire for wealth had not diminished in the least. He openly admitted that he still yearns for the lavish lifestyle for which he has gained notoriety, complete with private jets, international shopping excursions, lavish residences, and all the perks of a life that most people can only dream of. This conflict between a man who is being investigated by the law and a man who is determined to maintain his reputation as the richest athlete alive reveals Floyd's thinking. For Mayweather, financial pressure did not equate to financial humility. Rather, it meant devising creative ways to protect and preserve the empire he built. It's not just about keeping money. It's about staying strong, unbeatable, and current. Mayweather remains steadfast in his determination to never give up the life he has worked so hard to attain, no matter the cost, in spite of the rumors and upcoming court disputes.
Still got my private jets. I still have all my beautiful homes, still have all my properties everywhere, and still making millions every month.
You didn't take this fight because you needed the money.
Actually, I didn't even want this. The fans demanded this fight. At one particular time. Of course, with this fight,
Stephen A. Smith is one of the few sports analysts who has repeatedly and loudly lauded Floyd Mayweather. He has defended Mayweather for years, not only as a formidable fighter but also as a once-in-a-generation strategist who revolutionized the definition of success in the sport. Smith frequently highlights how Floyd's undefeated record, especially in the later years of his career, was no accident. Smith often refers to Mayweather as a boxing genius, someone who turned up to dominate every second of every round rather than just fight. It came from unwavering discipline, unmatched defensive prowess, and a boxing mentality that was more chess than battle. Regardless of his ring IQ, footwork, counterpunching, or ability to annoy even the most irate opponents, Smith stated that Floyd's greatness was founded on accuracy and foresight. Smith feels that Mayweather's reputation is more about how he achieved the 50-0 record than it is about the record itself. He believes Floyd set a standard of excellence that future boxers should follow, even though they will never be able to fully replicate it. Stephen A. felt that Mayweather's dominance extended beyond his physical prowess, and that makes him one of the sport's most important figures.
Mayweather was undefeated for the last half of his career with one hand. He constantly broke his hand.
Yeah.
He would go into a ring knowing he had no shot at knocking somebody out because his hands were hurt too much, and literally walked in the ring and said, "I'm going to embarrass you and humiliate you by showing the world you can't hit me."
Floyd Mayweather's transition from competitive boxing to exhibition bouts marked the beginning of a new chapter in his career that was full of spectacle, controversy, and criticism. Following his victory over the world's best, Mayweather now had to compete against online celebrities and influencers. Of the exhibitions, his famous fight against YouTuber-turned-amateur boxer Logan Paul was the most noteworthy. Although the event generated a lot of revenue and attention, many people, including ESPN's Stephen A. Smith, felt let down and thought it damaged Mayweather's reputation. Smith didn't mince words. The days of tactical mastery against elite opponents like Pacquiao or Canelo were long gone, and Mayweather declared that he had nothing to gain and everything to lose by sharing the ring with someone who didn't belong there, calling the fight a meaningless cash grab. A glorified sparring session that Smith believed was more like performance art than prize fighting took their place. The anger wasn't limited to a single fight. It also focused on what it represented. This individual, once impenetrable, was now more interested in popularity than greatness in order to get money. The boxing community's growing perception that Mayweather's exhibition era was more about preserving financial success than it was about leaving a legacy was reinforced by Smith's criticism. Mayweather has not responded to the criticism with sorrow. But the question still stands. Can the legacy of a boxing legend survive the attention of an exhibition?
If not the greatest boxer in history, he's absolutely sensational. But he retired years ago, and for me personally, I know these exhibition matches are entertaining. I like the one with Conor McGregor, not so much the one with Logan Paul. Looking at these exhibitions and all of that stuff, that little melee and stuff don't matter to me. As far as I'm concerned, it could have potentially been orchestrated. I don't know. But I do know not just anybody should be allowed to be in the ring with Floyd Money Mayweather.
Absolutely.
I just believe.
Stephen A. Smith's critique of Floyd Mayweather extended beyond the Logan Paul demonstration to include Mayweather's whole post-retirement strategy. Smith was deeply troubled by what happened in the years following Floyd's fight with Conor McGregor, despite acknowledging and even applauding the fight because of McGregor's experience in combat sports. Mayweather's choices demonstrated a risky trend, ranging from competing against social media celebrities to participating in what Smith called glorified sparring matches abroad. Smith asserted that Mayweather's exhibition opponents were chosen for their guaranteed financial gain rather than their challenge or legacy, and were far less skilled than he was. The impression of invincibility that Floyd had worked so hard to build throughout his career was undermined by these fights, which often lacked danger or athletic merit. Smith maintained that the respect he had earned from boxers, purists, and analysts was in jeopardy because the same man who had once aspired to greatness was now after easy money. The issue was not limited to boxing. It's related to legacy. Smith believed that Mayweather's reputation, which had previously been associated with quality, was slowly changing to include more show than substance and more cash grab performances. The narrative was changing. Mayweather was no longer regarded as the unquestioned sports king, but rather as a crafty businessman more concerned with his next paycheck than his next opponent. Smith believed that this shift was a dangerous departure from the principles that made Floyd Mayweather a legend.
Which is where my disappointment comes from. When you are as great as Floyd Money Mayweather, everybody doesn't deserve to be in your space. I know you like to make money. You're never going to stop making money. Very, very few people on the planet know how to make money like you know how to make money. But some of this stuff has got to stop. You want to get Conor McGregor in the ring for an exhibition match? All right, that's fine. You know, Conor sold that. It was great marketing. He's not a boxer, but hey, he was a knockout artist in the UFC. I get it.
When Floyd Mayweather was asked why he chose to fight Logan Paul instead of Tyson Fury, a more respected and seasoned opponent, everything changed. His answer: Mayweather's direct statement, "Logan has a larger following." It was a wake-up call for many, including Stephen A. Smith, and it marked a significant shift in his priorities. Mayweather's days of competing for belts, history, or pride were long gone. Social media analytics and worldwide reach suddenly seemed to be the driving forces behind his matchups. It seems like fighting someone with more Instagram followers was more important than fighting someone with real boxing experience. Smith considered the decision as a betrayal of the sport, one that prioritized influence over rivalry, and it marked a dramatic change from the boxer's philosophy, which had previously dared to take on the greatest and stay out of the ring. Smith said that by choosing viral fame over real competition, Mayweather was making money off of his legacy rather than protecting it. The choice to face Logan Paul was not a theatrical move. Rather, it denoted a more important shift. The previous champion had stopped attempting to make a name for himself. He was capitalizing on a brand built on past achievement by utilizing his reputation for short-term financial benefit rather than long-term respect. This move infuriated analysts and divided followers. For Stephen A. Smith, it also validated a painful reality. The legend of Money Mayweather might not conclude with a knockout, but rather with a whimper of missed chances and a legacy that is growing increasingly fuzzy under the bright lights of internet stardom.
I fight Logan Paul. Name another boxer besides myself that's more famous than Logan Paul. Tyson Fury. What? I want you to look up Tyson Fury, how many followers, and look up how many followers Logan Paul has. Logan Paul, 56 million. Tyson Fury, 4 million. So 50 compared to 4 something. I can fight a fighter right now, guarantee myself 35 million. Or me and Logan Paul can go out and entertain and have fun and make 100 million or more. So if you or me, you gotta look at 35 million for 12 rounds and 100 for 6 rounds. Big difference.
In addition to being the face of boxing, Floyd Mayweather was also the face of global sports finance. He made hundreds of millions of dollars from a single bout, making him the highest paid athlete according to Forbes. But his success wasn't all his own doing. It was the result of astute bargaining, control over his promotional brand, and a keen grasp of how to turn show into revenue. Floyd Mayweather was considered one of the few athletes who had figured out the secret, someone who not only won fights but also knew how to run them. However, his once flawless image is beginning to show signs of deterioration. As new rumors and alleged financial records surface, questions about Mayweather's true financial status are becoming more and more raised. Behind the flashy cars, glittering jewelry, and mountains of cash that he so regularly flaunts on social media, some fear a more somber reality, one of growing expenses, questionable investments, and even financial mismanagement. Critics like Stephen A. Smith have started to ask the tough questions. Is Mayweather's wealth as safe as he initially claimed? These rumors are more important than ever for someone whose identity was centered around being money. Or are more significant issues being hidden behind the show of boundless wealth? The man who once epitomized financial acumen in sports is now being viewed with increasing skepticism. If the rumors are true, Mayweather's victory may have cost more in terms of money and legacy than anybody had expected. What was once hailed as genius and the invincible image could now be seen as a warning. Mayweather's momentum might be destroyed by financial decisions made outside of the ring.
Mayweather, the highest paid athlete, not the highest paid boxer, the highest paid athlete in the world. I had the opportunity and pleasure to be around him for many years. I was his personal shopper. I was a personal friend of his family. One of my greatest memories of being just lucky enough to even be around that environment is watching him train. Watching Floyd Mayweather train is a masterclass in discipline. It is a masterclass in work ethic. It is a masterclass in this is how you execute and get stuff done. Every rep, he hits it hard. There's not one lazy rep. He does everything at such a high frequency, so elevated. I'm like, goodness gracious, watching this man train, it's like, that's how I want to train for life. I've been to the club with Floyd where we leave in the club 3, 4 in the morning and he's still going to hit his 6 miles. He'll have all the cars follow him and he's running down the Las Vegas Strip, down back streets.
Not only is Logan Paul a former YouTuber who is now a boxer, but he is also preparing to fight Floyd Mayweather in court over millions of unpaid wages. Paul claimed that Mayweather's camp failed to pay him between $1 million and $3 million in guaranteed pay-per-view income after their June 2021 exhibition fight. The influencer was direct in a 2022 interview with TMZ Sports, saying he felt defrauded and was prepared to sue. Mayweather, on the other hand, has flatly denied the allegations, claiming that Paul was paid in full and that any payment delays was simply a typical aspect of the boxing industry. However, Logan values accountability over financial gain. The confrontation has shed light on the murky world that lurks beneath the glitz of boxing matches. He has questioned the transparency of high-stakes showpiece fights and accused Mayweather of mismanaging the money and breaching their contract. Contracts, prizes, and handshakes have long been a part of the game, but the drama is now seeping into the courts. The question remains, is this only a compensation battle or the fall of a well-controlled empire? Paul is still pursuing legal action.
Or is that something that you can't disclose right now?
He has not paid me in full. That is a fact.
No
Short
way.
a few mil, yeah.
Wow. Still a few mil.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Have you been in contact with him?
Nah, we're taking this one to court.
No, are you being serious? It's just like a...
Do I look serious, lady?
You do. I'm just making sure. I apologize.
Really?
I'm just...
No, I'm not f***ing you. Yeah, we're taking it to court.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So,
Yeah, see you in the courtroom. Congrats, you're going to prison, Floyd.
In addition to the ring, Floyd Mayweather has been a part of fights that have often spilled into courts and prisons. Despite having a billion-dollar company and being well-known throughout the world, his relationship with the law has remained complex and sometimes chaotic. Mayweather's legal history, which includes accusations of domestic abuse, jail time, and numerous civil challenges over financial obligations, serves as a warning about the dual nature of wealth and power. The man behind the money team has frequently lamented feeling stuck in spite of his wealth. In interviews, he has lamented the lack of freedom he feels, despite boasting of unmatched luxury, private jets, million-dollar watches, and all. But as it turns out, celebrity and fortune don't shield a person from the consequences of careless actions or questionable financial decisions. He has been embroiled in legal battles for years over unpaid debts, company problems, and escalating accusations. It's not just bad headlines, it's a pattern. Floyd's reputation also deteriorates with each news story. The man who established his reputation in the ring by remaining disciplined and in control appears to be losing that same hold off camera, serving as a reminder that even the most successful people can suffer by their choices off camera.
You know, I had 3 children with a young lady. We wasn't seeing eye to eye. You know, we wasn't seeing eye to eye. You know, she was a little upset, had a little alcohol in her system. She was a little edgy, and I told her, you know, basically I needed the keys to my truck. She was upset. She didn't want me to take the keys to the truck. So things got out of hand and blown out of, you know, they blow things up bigger than what things are really made out to be. So things happen.
But nevertheless, you had to do 2 months, right?
Yeah, I did 2 months for a misdemeanor, yes.
So what is it like to have everything and then not have freedom?
That's what I come to find out. Freedom is very important. Freedom is very, very important. And I'm just, you know, I'm happy to be free. I'm happy to be back, you know, in my children's life.
In a story of wealth, betrayal, and loyalty, rapper 50 Cent once took over as Mayweather Promotions manager when Floyd was behind bars. 50 claims that he never received the millions of cash he invested to keep the company viable. When Floyd departed, 50 expected recognition and perhaps even remuneration. Rather, he was met with silence and denial. The rapper publicly vented his frustration, suggesting that Mayweather deserted his supporters when it mattered most.
Everybody who knows Floyd knows he doesn't want to be alone. So in that situation, like, I was concerned about him because, like, I went to visit him more than anyone else that he would qualify and would actually visit him. And it's because I knew that he like this. He'll buy stuff for you to keep you around. His temperament, there's no balance. Like, he can do anything and they'll still stay there because it's like
Yes, man.
Right.
Floyd's response, "I never asked him to do that," was cold and calculating. With such comments, Mayweather essentially ignored 50's accomplishments, reinforcing the notion that Floyd always puts himself first in terms of wealth and influence. This battle was both personal and professional, and that wasn't the first time a close friend or relative has accused Floyd of betraying his word. The breakup with 50 Cent has added to a litany of contentious relationships that seem to follow the undefeated champion everywhere. It showed a man surrounded by luxury but often abandoned, his allegiances questioned, and his legacy clouded by the empire he built.
You can trust the news. There's no such thing as thing. I'm working for ESPN. We're broadcasting the Mayweather-McGregor fight live. And to this day, they will tell you that's a record. That's the biggest fight ever. That thing was sold out. That place was, people were dressed up as empty seats. And I mean thousands of people.
No.
I bought my mother's ticket that day. That day, my mother decides that she wants to go to the fight. So I'm in there and I'm telling the world that this place is sold out because that's what's on the screen. And I go, it's not even close. Yeah. This isn't like, it's pretty much, there's thousands of empty seats. That was the first time that in my own life I ever just, wow, fake news is real.
Wow.
And then Mayweather, they wanted a rematch. They were begging. They were doing more media trying to get a rematch than they did leading into the first match. And the guys that wrote the checks.
But why didn't it sell out? I mean, it's such two big draws. They promoted it so well.
All anybody's talking about.
Yeah, there's still a number.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter how big it draws, there's still a number. If this guy got 100 million, this guy got 100 million, then you got to advertise it, promote it. You got to bring
it's the guarantees that kill everything. If they were just getting percentages, then obviously everybody.
You're saying the seats were empty. I can understand it not making the money, but the seats being empty seems
peculiar.
Yeah, and there's nothing in the world where you have a pay-per-view hit that didn't have a live audience hit. Like if your live audience is your first focus group, isn't sold out, you didn't do pay-per-view numbers.
Sure.
Well, boxing will still claim that to this day. They still to this day claim that that's number one. And if you want to be the biggest pay-per-view in boxing history, all you have to do is claim it.
With a shocking revelation from UFC veteran Chael Sonnen, the Mayweather vs. McGregor megafight issue was rekindled. In contrast to the once-in-a-generation spectacle that shattered pay-per-view records and produced enormous profits, Sonnen said the reality inside the arena told a completely different story. According to Sonnen, who saw the event firsthand, the deception was evident as thousands of seats were deliberately left empty and filled by staged extras dressed to make it appear as though the auditorium was sold out. He described how his own mother was able to get empty tickets despite the concert being touted as a sellout. He viewed it as smoke and mirrors, a stage performance designed to hide production shortcomings while maintaining the impression of success. Sonnen's comments add credence to a growing debate that questions the validity of Mayweather's marketing tactics. Even though promoters are bragging about record-breaking numbers, the reality behind the scenes is far more murky. Did we witness the most successful battle in history, or the best illusion? Boxing fans are left wondering after Sonnen's revelation. What else was phony in a society where perception usually wins out over reality?